Good morning. Today is September 18th, 2021. Just a very quick, hopefully quick overview of where the garden is at the moment. I brought the barrels up from the melon run over here, over there, over there. I'm going to be replacing what's left of those from the summer with some fall flowers and veggie starts. I have some sunflowers that are still pot bound. I got them started really late, but I'm going to put them in there so they won't get to full height, but they should still put on a nice autumnal flower. So here's a couple little tiny ones. I have a few different varieties. I put this, oh, here's another. I got these starts, these Bok Choy starts, and I put them in this tub, or this barrel yesterday, and woke up to find that this foot of height was no match for the bunny's appetite. So that's disappointing. Oh, and here's some chard starts. Looks like they got to some of that too. Some more sunflowers. See the tiny little bud on there. So it won't be a huge show, but it should still be really nice, really lovely. I have this little zucchini that I don't know if it's gonna, those roots look really soggy and not great, so I might try covering them up with some soil. I'm not sure if you can, some plants like the tomatoes or the zinnias, you can bury the stems, but I'm not sure if you can really do that with these. But that does look like a tiny little, I'm really hoping it's a gray squash. Those were my favorite, a gray zucchini, those were my favorite from the season. They're just really beautiful, not actually gray. There's another seed I threw in like last week, because why not? And yeah, so they weren't actually gray, they're green with this really beautiful webbing and sort of more like light bulb shape, like wide at one end. Here's a little, oh, lots of bees. Even if you don't get a harvest from your late sowed squash plants, I would recommend doing it anyway, just because the flowers are such a pollinator like haven. The bees really love them. I just found one a minute ago that was sleeping. Oh, he's still there. So that one's been snoozing. Can you imagine that? You sleep clutching your breakfast, spooning your breakfast. Oh no, I guess I'm waking him up a little bit. So anyway, this is the patty pan. That's a leaf, but let me get in here. So that's a little patty pan. It doesn't want to focus. Get an idea of the size. Got that one there, over there. That's one that didn't make it. Let me knock that off. You can barely even see it, but I'll deal with that later. So yeah, they put on new flowers every day, and the pollinators are always at them. And just aesthetically for the leaves, these, I don't know, I think they really add an interesting like structural element to a garden, to a landscape. Eggplant continue to produce. I was out here the other day and I was thinking like, I'm pretty sure there's some in here, and then I came back out and spent a few moments and found like 5. So they have a way of hiding. They're a little like camouflaged, just a little bit. But another squash I got in here super late. Just getting really damp with all the weather events, as George Carlin would say, all the weather events we've been having. Gorgeous Arugula. Usually the bunnies will leave the arugula and the bok choy, although this year has been different in terms of, I guess, their appetite or their taste preferences. They've developed a more sophisticated palate and have been eating, here's like the bok choy. I have a ton of volunteer bok choy from those yellow flowers. You probably, no one's going to remember this, I guess, but I have a bunch of yellow flowers earlier in the season that I was pretty obsessed with. Took a ton of photos, but they all went to seed and scattered all over. I have some fencing here. I'll be fencing in this section. Try to keep some bunnies out, get some fall crops in here. So here's another one, but you can see getting munched on. I have another one over there. These are the last standing zucchinis. I was about to take this one down the other day, and then I saw this guy, so that's exciting. Yeah. Little Cosmo, one of the orange varieties. Here's the Macarenia Zinnias. I got these in here super late. I love them, so pretty. Yeah, these were sowed in like July, I think. So breaking the rules. Anyway, lots more arugula. Okra I discovered a couple days ago that unfortunately I've seemed to develop an allergy to. So that was very unpleasant. Apparently I have two varieties, and the hill country okra has spines, which I hadn't really, I know I had the Clemson spineless, but I never really gave it too much thought as to what that meant. I thought it would be like a more tender okra, but the spines are actually lining the outside, and according to an article and according to my own experience, they do feel like 1,000 like tiny needles. Anyway, moving on. These are the French marigolds. They took forever to bloom, but I really, really love them, and they smell gorgeous. They smell a little like marigold, but a little like dill, sweet dill, and it's just really, really pretty and pleasant. And tomatoes are still doing great. They're sprawling everywhere. This one back here snapped. This one hadn't done anything for like 2 months. It was the same height for so long. I'd accidentally cut the growing tip. And then overnight it put on like a foot, and tons of new flowers. Just getting ready to go nuts again. Oh yeah, and then I came out and it was on the ground. So this was the twine that I had originally attached it with. But all that extra weight it just put on was just too much for it. So this is a yellow boy or something. This is the very late planted. I think this is the black crim, and it's doing super. More of the marigolds. Here's the more, I don't remember the variety, but this is more standard marigold, just really gorgeous. Here's some of the Chadwick cherry volunteer tomatoes. If you recall, these were grown from self-sown seeds. And let me see if I can get it in here. Yeah, it's outlasted, and it's doing better than some of the ones that I started weeks and weeks before the season. More of these gorgeous marigolds, and if I could bottle the smell, I would. It's really incredible. If you're working near it or walk past it, it usually you can get like the scent will drift up, and it's one of my favorite things. So yeah, more little eggplant. There's another dangling down there, if you can see it. It's really kind of tough. And these just keep putting on flowers and more flowers. Oh, it smells amazing. It smells so good. More the nasturtium. The nasturtium, in my experience, don't love super hot weather. And they definitely hate having wet feet. So they went sort of dormant for a little while this summer and have just now started to return and are looking really fantastic. In super surprise news, the cucumber seeds I put in after my first and second rounds of cucumbers that didn't make it have started to put out cucumbers. So I have like 4 vines through here. Let me see. There's another back there. Yeah, look at this. Cucumbers. September cucumbers. I will take it. And I have one little vine back here that's still going with this. See, there's a little, oh, what's that? I don't know what that is. Lots of creepy crawlies. Here's your nasturtium seed. Once it blooms, if you let that dry. I've been picking them and letting them dry, and hopefully that'll still work. I'm not quite sure. I've never saved nasturtium seeds before, but I got one hanging out there, one last, and then I have a couple still over here. And this is why it's so tricky, because this, yikes, hold on. Just way too narrow. Way too narrow. So this is interesting too. At least I think it's interesting. These are pumpkin starts that I had, and I didn't get in the ground till like August. And they look like they're doing really great. So that, I mean, ideally it's like 45 days or so to bloom and put out a pumpkin. So I don't know how realistic that is, but this is really exciting too. These are another round of honey nut squash seeds that I had planted, and there's a little flower there. And these, again, these weren't in here until August as well. So looks like I have about 4 more honey nut squash still hanging out here. Some cosmos. I put in, this is buckwheat. I was hoping for a little bit more of a show. I've never grown it before, but it's a good cover crop, and it's up in 30 days, so can't argue with that. Sunflowers. Zinnias are getting a little beat up with the powdery mildew, which is expected this time of year. Winding down the season. This I'm pretty sure this is a sweet winter squash, and that one is a Dickinson, I think. I don't remember what I put there, but I don't know if anything's gonna happen. Anything's gonna come from that. More okra that I can't touch, which hurts my heart. Speaking of heart, we have My favorite little heart-shaped pumpkin back here. I posted about this the other day too. I just love how, maybe it was yesterday, I don't remember, but just like with the zucchini vines, the pumpkin vines, same family, float. Well, they seem to float. They remind me of lily pads sitting on the surface of the water, except these seem to be floating, and it creates such an, I don't know, it's just like an unusual, if you're used to having like a traditional standard backyard and nothing but like flat grass and maybe a garden here or there, but it really changes the landscape, and it's, to me, it's like really, it makes it feel more like a fairy tale, more unusual, more ethereal. In the morning, this area reads blue. Like in the shade, it always reads a lot more blue than when the sun has like fully risen, and it has like such a like weird sort of lagoon, like a blue lagoon kind of feel to it. So it's nice to have that sort of change of location, or seeming change of location, even if it's the same place it's always been. It feels like you're in someplace different. Oh, this is one of the volunteers. Oh, that's something. Wait, is that something? That looks like something. I still don't, oh, that looks like a honey nut squash. We'll see. Gorgeous goldenrod. This is Malabar spinach. This is little cucamelons. There's a little one down here. Guess I'll be eating that. Look at the gorgeous. Isn't that stunning? Okay, let me see if I can wrap this up really quickly now. So here's like a super late planted sunflower that's just gotten drenched over and over again, but so it again doesn't get full size, but it still gets really pretty. Yikes. Okay, so what's going on over here? These are some of the fish pepper. These have a really rich history in the Philadelphia and Baltimore region, which are two places close to my heart. Oh, this is sort of exciting. Back here I have, these are chocolate peppers, so they go, they start green and then go red, and this should turn like a chocolatey brown color. So that'll be a nice treat. More zinnias, of course. And we have the tomatillos. Lots of pruning needs to be happening. These gorgeous little zinnias. Amaranth. I'm definitely a little disappointed about this whole section, but it just gets so wet there, and you know, sometimes it doesn't work out like you want it to. But if I do it again next year, I'll switch things up a little bit so it'll be more successful, I think. Here is, look, I'm such a renegade. Getting in here, touching the okra. I'm hoping it's just the pods and not the leaves and stems too, but these gorgeous okra flowers deserve attention. Can you see? They're easily one of the most beautiful things in the garden. Here are tomatillos in progress. So yeah, here's the ground cherries that were out back. I have some, here's another little sunflower. These little pots, you'll see there's sunflowers I'll be planting in there. And, oh, this was a cucumber, this right here. I put a cucumber seed in here a long time ago. There's the Macarenia Zinnias. A couple of these Macarenia Zinnias hanging in here. Some pansies, because it is September, 'tis the season. Alright, and it wouldn't be a J Bell Digs video without some attention on these gorgeous, gorgeous Spanish eyes, black eye Susan vines. So, yeah, and these tomatoes. Here we go. Keep on. Keeping on. Look at that golden brown. Let's see, here's one. So, lots of work that needs to be done. I'm pretty beat, to be honest. It's been a really long season. It's been a really hot season. Look how beautiful these basil flowers are. Oh, here, lastly, these got knocked over a while ago. And I thought they would just die, but they haven't. And now they're putting on little flowers. I thought they were supposed to be red. That's what the photo was, at least, but they're definitely more burgundy with a little lilac color flower. It's really, really pretty. So those will be nice for like a bouquet. Oh, it smells so good. The cardinal definitely has more of a licorice scent to it, and licorice flavor, if you like that anisey vibe. I just can't stop with these. They're the most beautiful, like, lush sunset palette. Okay, you're probably all asleep by now, so good night. Happy, healthy gardening.